Man, the last time I did an MMORPG recap was November. It has been almost 2 entire months. That is largely due to the fact that there just isn't a whole lot going on in the genre, as much as I hate to admit it, as much as I'm sure a lot of you hate to admit it, but there has been quite a bit that has happened since my last news video, with actually quite a bit of it happening as of the last 2 weeks. So we're going to go ahead and discuss all of that and more right now in 2026's very first weekly bite of MMORPG news. Let's start this off with the new MMORPG, Eternal Sword Pact. This was terrible. I recorded myself playing this, and admittedly, I couldn't play for longer than 2 hours. I don't even know if I made it 2 hours through. This just released, and it is already dead. I don't know anyone that's playing it. I don't know anyone outside of bots that are playing it. I don't know anyone that would play it. It was your typical mobile MMO trash that's completely auto path, completely auto equip, completely auto gear, completely auto progression, nothing at all, which was incredibly disappointing. Dragon Sword is the spiritual successor to Dreadmyst, done by some of the original developers of the game. It is officially launching in Korea on the 21st of January. That's roughly 2 weeks from today. The game looks beautiful. The combat looks incredible. The character models look fantastic. It is cross-platform compatible between PC and mobile, so it's going to deter some players. But a lot of us these days seem to be perfectly fine with cross-platform games. Wuthering Waves is cross-platform, and that is incredible. Where Winds Meet is cross-platform on mobile as well. That is also an incredible game. So I think these days mobile games aren't necessarily the indicator that they are a low quality overall like they used to be. Lost Ark 2, also known as Lost Ark Mobile, is in development. They had recent announcements. They revealed quite a bit. They had new trailers, gameplay footage, everything. And honestly, this actually looks even better than Lost Ark 1 does. But I mean, at the same time, that's not really that difficult. Lost Ark 1 was made with, I think, Unreal Engine 3. This is being made with Unreal Engine, I'm assuming, 5. But it's a beautiful game. I'm hoping it's not going to fall into the same pay-to-win pitfalls that original Lost Ark did, but at the same time, this is being done by a Korean MMO company, and if there's one thing Korean MMOs are and do well, it is, well, really, really hot female characters, really, really revealing sexy armor, but also incredible pay to win, very predatory business models and practices. Also really good combat. Havenhold has officially released onto Steam. Brand new MMO. It is an action sandbox MMO inspired by the ancient Far East. It is released to mixed reviews, so evidently is not doing very well. Going on over to SteamDB, we can see that there was a 624 player peak, 844 player peak 2 days ago, with 200 people playing it right now. I'm assuming within the week this is dead. What else can you say? The new MMOs these days, they release and within a week are pretty much dead. Hoyeon, also known as Blade and Soul Heroes, has officially confirmed that in Korea they are shutting down. This released globally just a couple months ago, and although Global has not confirmed their shutdown technically yet, I wouldn't expect them to be able to remain online, given Korea is where all of the game is developed and all the content comes from, whereas Global just translates all the global content to English. So I'm assuming as we approach closer to catching up to Korea, we're going to also have Blade and Soul Heroes with their end of service announcement too. Lord of Mysteries is a brand new MMO that was just announced. This is set in the Lord of Mysteries franchise, the intellectual property. A lot of people are actually excited for this one. I admittedly haven't seen much outside of what seems to be their like scenery trailer, which does actually look kind of good. And then we have some of the screenshots taken from I guess gameplay. Maybe I wish I could say with certainty. I hope this is gameplay, because some of these screenshots actually look really freaking sick. And I would love like a dark Victorian Gothic setting in an MMO, because we really don't have any of those anymore. Yo, I don't mean to interrupt the video, but I need to take a moment here to thank all my incredible patrons over on Patreon whose support continues to allow for me to do regular videos like this every single day on this channel. Thank y'all so much, including our YouTube channel members. You guys mean the world to me. So do you guys as viewers as well. Now, without further ado, let's continue. Tower Fantasy recently released their Warp server, and it did about as well as you'd expect. The average concurrency was about 400 to 500 players over on Steam, spiked up to 3,500, and then immediately tapered off and is now averaging about 600 to 750 players per day. So it did see a 50% increase, maybe 75% increase at peak or during peak hours. And you know what? That is probably not what they were hoping for. And it wasn't received probably nearly as well as they were hoping it would be, but at the same time, that's perfectly fine because a lot of people played Tower Fantasy and didn't like it. And if you go back to it now, it just feels so much more dated than it already did back then. And there are much better games out there that you could be playing, like Wuthering Waves, or like their new upcoming game, Neverness to Everness, which actually is a good game. Soul Enchant is a brand new MMO that was just announced. They debuted a trailer. I reacted to this. I thought it actually looked kind of good until I got to this point in the trailer where the statue here had 6 fingers, and immediately I knew that it was AI. I hope their game isn't AI, or at the very least, they don't use it to generate things in the game and rather use it just for things like maybe touching up. Dreadmyst is a brand new MMO releasing on January 9th. That is 2 days from now as a recording, or tomorrow as the video going live. This is admittedly, I'm gonna go on a limb here, and as much as I don't mean to criticize them, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna call it as I see it. I don't think this is gonna be very popular. Aion 2 has been in a lot of trouble recently with players specifically, and that's because honestly, it just isn't in a great spot. I don't think anyone has actually enjoyed playing it. Okay, there is probably a minority that enjoy playing it, but for the most part, there aren't really many people that enjoyed playing it. There aren't really many content creators that are supporting it, and they themselves kind of imposed these limitations that prevented a lot of global players from accessing it as well. So the anger, the upset, the discontent, that was totally warranted, and they deserve it, honestly. Past Fate is a brand new open world MMORPG set in a medieval fantasy world that just released today to mostly negative reviews. 21% of the reviews are positive, which means almost 80% are negative. That is horrific. This is another new MMO that's been in development for God knows how long, and it released. You want to know how many people are currently playing this? As of right now, or even as of today, it peaked at 142 players, and within hours dipped. Okay, it launched at 6 p.m. By 8 p.m. it had shed over half its players. Yeah, it lost a solid like 70-80% of its players literally within a few hours. This game is dead too. Years worth of investment, financial and just time gone. Horizon Steel Frontiers is another new MMORPG that was also recently announced. This is one that kind of seems like it has potential. It looks very much so like Monster Hunter. Honestly, the graphical aesthetic is pretty decent. The combat seems pretty good. Like, it's essentially Monster Hunter set in a Horizon Zero Dawn setting. And that could be good. That could be fun. That could be really cool. I don't know for sure, but I guess we'll find out as we approach release. And finally, Hytale officially launches into early access on January 13th, 2026. I hope this does well. We need an MMO to do well. I don't have the highest of expectations for any MMO release anymore, but I mean, people have been waiting for this for a while, so it's going to be available finally. And that is everything that happened in literally the last like month or two that I've been keeping up to date with, that I've been aware of. There isn't a whole lot, granted, but it's enough to warrant a dedicated video. So now you're all up to date. You're welcome. I know you think that you just hit the end of the video, and technically, yeah, you have. And I know your first reaction is to close out of it at this juncture, but don't. No, instead, I urge you to take a moment here and click one of the videos on screen that are coming up in just a moment. so you remain up to date with everything going on in the gacha genre. Trust me, you are not going to regret doing so. Stay flaccid.